The biting winds of the North Sea lashed against the longship, soaking every timber, every sail, every man. Below deck, the air was a suffocating blend of damp wool and cold salt. Survival hinged on warmth, on food, on the primal comfort of a flickering flame. But in such a relentless environment, fire starting was not a simple spark. It was an intricate dance with the elements, often demanding the most unconventional of ingredients. For the Norsemen, fire was not merely a convenience, it was life itself. It cooked their meals, purified their water, forged their tools, and thawed their very bones. Yet traditional methods, flint and steel, friction bows, were often defeated by persistent dampness. Tinder, when found, quickly absorbed moisture, rendering it useless. A different kind of fuel, a more resilient accelerant, was desperately needed in their harsh world. Consider the profound challenge: a damp forest floor, a frigid, rain-slicked rock shelter, or the interior of a mist-shrouded longhouse. How could a reliable spark catch and ignite under such unforgiving conditions? The solution, surprisingly, lay not in the forest's dry kindling, nor in specially prepared wood, but in an abundant, often overlooked and deeply personal resource: human urine. The practicality of the Norsemen often led them to ingenious, if sometimes unsavory, chemical processes. The key component in this particular fire-starting technique was urea, a compound naturally present in human urine. When allowed to decompose, urea breaks down into ammonia, a potent alkali. This seemingly mundane bodily waste held the chemical power to transform common materials into powerful fire starters. The primary recipient of this unique treatment was a specific type of fungus known as Amadou, or tinder fungus, Fomes fomentarius. This bracket-shaped fungus, found growing on birch and beech trees, possessed a fibrous, spongy inner layer. In its natural state, Amadou was a decent tinder, but its ignition properties could be dramatically enhanced through a meticulous multi-stage process involving the aforementioned liquid. The preparation began with harvesting the Amadou and separating its valuable inner flesh. This spongy material was then steeped for days, sometimes weeks, in a solution of urine. The ammonia produced by the decomposing urea acted as a powerful alkali, breaking down the fungal fibers and softening them. This chemical alteration was crucial. It fundamentally changed the physical structure of the tinder. Following the prolonged soaking, the Amadou was pounded with a mallet, further compressing and refining its structure. This mechanical process, combined with the chemical treatment, created a dense, felt-like material. Once dried, this Amadou felt possessed an extraordinary ability to catch even the faintest spark, glowing intensely and holding an ember for a remarkably long duration, even in damp conditions. With their specially prepared Amadou felt, the Norsemen possessed a tinder far superior to raw natural materials. When a spark, struck from flint against a piece of high-carbon steel, landed on this treated fungus, it would quickly ignite into a glowing ember. This ember, once established, was robust enough to resist gusts of wind and even light moisture, providing a critical initial flame. The glowing Amadou ember was then carefully transferred to a small bundle of finely shredded bark or dried grass, a bird's nest of highly combustible material. Gentle blowing, controlled and steady, would coax the ember to grow, spreading its heat through the tinder until it burst into a small flame. This required skill and patience, often practiced from childhood within the longhouse. From this small, nascent flame, the process escalated. Thin slivers of wood, progressively larger kindling, and eventually substantial logs would be added. This controlled escalation ensured that the fire grew steadily, never sputtering out due to a lack of immediate fuel or overwhelming the initial fragile flame. It was a methodical system honed by constant practice in unforgiving environments. For the Viking Age traveler, explorer, or raider, carrying a pouch of prepared Amadou was as essential as their axe or shield. It represented self-sufficiency and resilience in lands both familiar and foreign. Whether deep in the Scandinavian forests or along the unfamiliar coasts of distant realms, the ability to make fire on demand was a cornerstone of their survival strategy and logistical independence. The practicality extended beyond simple survival. Fire was central to many Viking crafts. Metalworking, crucial for tool and weapon production, relied on consistent heat. Ship construction, particularly the bending of timbers, demanded controlled flames. This urine-tweeted tinder therefore underpinned not just immediate warmth, but the entire industrial capacity of a Viking settlement or expedition. Imagine the scene. After a grueling day of rowing or marching, a group of Norsemen disembarks on a damp shoreline. While some set up camp, others immediately seek out firewood. One individual, perhaps the most experienced, meticulously prepares the hearth. From a small leather pouch, the precious Amadou is drawn, promising warmth and sustenance within minutes, a testament to their ingenuity. This method contrasted sharply with many contemporary approaches. While other cultures might rely on naturally dry tinder or constant hearth fires, the Norse developed a system that chemically enhanced a common material, making it resilient to conditions that would defeat most other fire-starting attempts. This practical chemistry provided a significant advantage in their cold, damp world. While other cultures might rely on naturally dry tinder or constant hearth fires, the Norse developed a system that chemically enhanced a common material, making it resilient to conditions that would defeat most other fire-starting attempts. This practical chemistry provided a significant advantage in their cold, damp world, ensuring warmth and light even when resources were scarce. Frankish or Anglo-Saxon armies, for example, typically relied on supply trains for essentials, including dried kindling and reliable fire-starting kits. The individual Norseman, however, was often expected to be self-sufficient, carrying a small, effective fire-starting package. This reduced logistical burdens on long voyages or raids, allowing greater mobility and operational independence. The knowledge of Amadou processing, passed down through generations, became a critical piece of the Norse survival toolkit. It was a testament to their deep understanding of their environment and their willingness to exploit every available resource, no matter how humble or unconventional. This pragmatic approach underpinned much of their expansion and endurance in challenging climates. However, as the Viking Age waned, the intricate practicalities of survival began to shift. The widespread adoption of Christianity across Scandinavia brought with it new social structures and a decline in some of the ancient lore. Centralization of power led to more structured societal systems, gradually moving away from individual wilderness self-reliance. Increased trade routes and the emergence of towns also meant a greater availability of goods, including more conventional and easily procured fire-starting materials. The necessity of such labor-intensive, chemically treated tinder diminished as access to simpler alternatives became commonplace. The urgent need for urine-prepared Amadou slowly faded into historical memory. The changing climate also played a role, while the immediate necessity for fire remained constant. The specific challenges of consistently damp environments might have lessened in certain regions, or improved tools and techniques made the Amadou process less indispensable. The cumulative effect was a gradual obsolescence of this particular ingenious method. As settlements grew and longhouses became more permanent, communal hearths were maintained with greater ease, reducing the individual's frequent need to start a fire from scratch under harsh conditions. The era of constant, mobile foraging and spontaneous campfires began to yield to more settled domestic practices, altering the demands on personal survival skills. Furthermore, advancements in metallurgy and tool-making, even subtle ones, could have gradually rendered the complex Amadou preparation less critical. Better quality steel for fire strikes, more efficient methods of creating and preserving tinder, or simply a shift in readily available local resources all contributed to the method's eventual decline in common practice. As societies became more stratified, the burden of specialized knowledge often fell to fewer individuals. While the earliest Norsemen might all have known this trick, later generations, benefiting from more established infrastructure, might have relied on designated individuals or simply bought pre-made tinder from craftsmen. The universal need for individual mastery diminished. The focus of Norse expansion also shifted from raiding and exploration to settlement and trade. The necessity for quickly establishing a fire in a remote, damp wilderness became less frequent for the average farmer or merchant compared to the early explorers. Their daily routines favored permanent hearths over impromptu campfires, further reducing the reliance on specialized tinder. With the passage of time and the advent of new ways of life, much of the nuanced practical knowledge from the Viking Age faded, becoming obscure folklore rather than essential survival skills. The exact chemical processes and the precise treatment of Amadou, once vital, became less understood and eventually lost to common memory, overshadowed by simpler alternatives. Even environmental changes could have subtly influenced this shift. Variations in climate might have altered the abundance or quality of Fomes fomentarius in certain regions, or changed the prevailing dampness of the environment, making alternative tinder sources more viable. The ingenuity remained, but its application adapted or was replaced. Yet, the principle of the Norsemen endured: an unwavering pragmatism, a deep understanding of their environment, and an unparalleled resourcefulness. The method of using urine to prepare tinder, while no longer commonplace, stands as a testament to their innovative spirit, turning everyday waste into a critical tool for survival and conquest. The legacy of the Viking Age is not merely one of battles and longships, but of meticulous engineering and applied science born from necessity. From the clinker-built hull that tamed the waves to the chemical treatment of a common fungus for fire, their world was built on a foundation of practical innovation. They exploited every available resource to thrive. The longhouse hearth, once requiring such diligent preparation to ignite, became a symbol of established community and continuous warmth. The rhythmic creak of oak timbers on a longship, now carrying goods for trade rather than raiders, spoke of a different era, yet the same pragmatic mindset that refined a fungus with urine fueled these evolutions. The practical logic of the Norsemen was not limited to grand feats. It permeated every aspect of their daily survival. From navigation by sunstone to the sophisticated carpentry of their ships, their methods were always a direct response to environmental challenges, meticulously refined through generations of trial and error. This commitment to functional ingenuity, whether in metallurgy, shipbuilding, or simply fire starting, allowed them to expand, adapt, and ultimately thrive in some of the most unforgiving landscapes. Their solutions were often elegant in their simplicity, yet profound in their effectiveness, demonstrating a deep respect for natural laws and available resources. The quiet hiss of treated Amadou catching a spark, the subtle aroma of pine tar and salt spray on the wind, the flickering light of a longhouse hearth after a long journey, these sensory details underscore a history built on practical mechanics and a relentless drive to master their surroundings, using every tool at their disposal, no matter how unconventional. The story of urine-tweetered tinder is more than a historical oddity. It is a microcosm of Viking ingenuity. It reveals a culture that valued efficiency, self-reliance, and a deep empirical understanding of material science. They saw potential where others saw waste, transforming the mundane into the miraculous. This ability to innovate, to bend nature to their will with pragmatic solutions, is the enduring legacy of the Norse. Their spirit of mechanical history lives on in every lesson drawn from their methods, reminding us of the profound impact of simple, intelligent engineering on human survival and expansion. Even today, in an age of instant gratification and advanced technology, what fundamental, overlooked resources might we be dismissing that could unlock innovative solutions to modern challenges, much like the Norsemen did with human urine? What waste might hold the key to our next great leap?